Hi, welcome back to our discussion of options. This is the second video in the series. Now I want to turn our attention to the second type of options, put options. You'll see that the definition of put options, which I've written here, is virtually identical to the definition of call option, with the exception basically of one word. I wrote it slightly different down here, not different in meaning, just different in expression. But a put options give you the right to sell 100 shares of the underlying asset at the exercise price on or before the expiration date of the put option. The right to sell. Remember, a call option gave you the right to buy 100 shares of the underlying asset at the exercise price on or before the expiration date of the call option. Put option, the right to sell. So the only difference is really call options give you the right to buy, put options give you the right to sell. When you first see this, it may not be apparent why that would be something of interest to anyone, but that insight will come as we go through these. Just right now, concentrate on learning the definitions of these. So call options and put options. Now let's do a similar analysis with put options as we looked at for call options. Let's consider a March 2020 Tesla 400 put, and we'll compare its price. We'll call its price Y. Okay. And we'll compare its price to another Tesla put, March 2020, but a put with a price of 410. When I say price, I mean a strike price, not a market price. The contractual price at which you will be able to sell 410. So this is a March 2020 Tesla 410 strike price put. And its price, now think about it. What would you rather have if you were just gifted a right to sell something at a specific price? Would you rather be able to sell it at a price of 410 a share or 400 a share? Well, of course, you'd rather have the right to sell at 410 a share. So in this case, we see that the market price of this put in equilibrium would have to be equal to Y plus some additional amount. I'll call that C. Okay? Interesting. Well, as before, analogous to my call example, let's now consider a 400 strike Tesla put that has an expiration in, say, June of 2020. So comparing the original March 2020 Tesla 400 put with a market price of Y with the put with the same strike price, 400, but expiring later in June, having a longer life, well, just think about it. What would you rather have? Something that lasts for 3 months or something that lasts for 6 months? Well, you'd rather have something that lasts for 6 months. And because this is more desirable, the June expiration, more desirable than the March expiration, in equilibrium, that June expiration put will have a higher price than the March expiration put, given that they have the same strike price, the same exercise price. So its price in equilibrium will be Y plus some additional amount, which I'll just call D. Of course, my additional amounts A, B, C, and D, as presented, were always greater than 0. Okay, so here's the put option, and again, our first bit of analysis as to comparison of market prices of the options in equilibrium. Now, why do I keep saying in equilibrium? Well, we're going to see much later in this series that when prices are out of equilibrium, and they often are out of equilibrium, however, when they're out of equilibrium, that what we call mispricing doesn't last for long, and we'll explain why later. It's actually quite interesting. That we are not always in equilibrium. Sometimes we're out of equilibrium, and the observations I'm making here are equilibrium observations, which is the appropriate way to do it. Now, put options and call options are the two major types of options, probably the only two types of options that people trade regularly, and understanding the definition and some elementary analysis with respect to the price of these is very important. Now, students sometimes make mistakes in that they confuse the strike price, which is a characteristic, that is an identifier associated with the option. They sometimes confuse that with the market price. Market prices are determined by the interaction of demand and supply forces. Strike prices, here 400 and 410, are contractual prices which are part of the asset, in this case the put itself. So don't confuse market prices with strike prices. That would be a major error on your part. Don't do that, okay? And a focus is on equilibrium market prices. That is really what we're heading to, an understanding of what prices of options would be in equilibrium. And we'll have a lot more to say about that as we go on here. So again, you may choose to stop the the video, and review the material, or you may wish to not do so if you understand it completely. But again, in review with put options, comparing relative to the March 2020 Tesla 400 put, a put with the same expiration date and a higher strike price will have a higher price in equilibrium, and compared to the same March 2020 Tesla 400 strike put, a 400 strike put expiring in June will have a higher price in equilibrium. And that's all for this.